And welcome everybody back to the CCG Esports Twitch channel. I am Tucker Haynes and I am joined by Inflict. We have the first round of the ESEA Advanced League playoffs about to get underway, and we have not just a best of one for you, but we have a best of three with the first map going to be Overpass. Inflict, it's playoff time, and I could not be any more excited.
Oh yeah, certainly. In CCG now, finally getting a good placement heading into the playoffs is really going to help them out in this run here as well. They're going up against Stan on Business, which, if anybody recalls, it was the team that they played on their very second match of the regular season in this very season as well. The game that they played previously on was the map that they played them on was Anubis, where CCG won 13-7, and we do have Anubis on the second as the second map. But we're gonna quickly take a look at how the map Witos went. It's looking good for CCG so far. Overpass was picked by Sound on Business. They've quite preferred playing Overpass and Mirage this whole regular season, and Mirage was instantly banned out by CCG, so good thinking there. But Overpass is a map that CCG should somewhat be comfortable with. They haven't played it in this season, but they had quite a lot of reps in seasons prior to this one, so they understand this map. Not as they're not as updated with it perhaps, but this next two maps are going to be Anubis and Nuke. Both of these maps are primarily CCG maps. They really prefer playing both of these maps. So the map Witos, I think they're looking strong for CCG, and if Stand on
Yeah,
Business
CCG
wants to
has
win
had
it.
a pretty long history with Anubis throughout the season. As we take a look at these rosters, of course, CCG, they've got the five big heavy hitters: Floridia, JJ Chinchilla, J Casper, Corn, and Trip, with Farrell on that substitutes. However, Stand on Business, they have a pretty solid roster in their back pocket as well, with, of course, Natarep, Revamps, Miles, Kuz, and One Winter with Drake as that substitute. This should be a pretty good match. And like we said, the maps definitely favor CCG, but at this level, you can never be too sure.
Yeah, I mean, stats do sort of go out the window once the match begins. The match currently is paused, so we are waiting for it to begin again. Uh, Well, it seems like the players are asking for a server reset, so we're actually gonna go for a short break. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as soon as this gets resolved.
And welcome back to the CCG Esports Twitch channel. We are terribly sorry about that. Tech issues, it's a part of esports. But now we're back. It's still Tucker Haynes. It's still Inflict. And we are still getting ready for the first round of the playoffs for the ESEA Advanced League. We're still here, CCG, going up against Stand on Business in a best of three, with the first match going to be Overpass. And we were talking about this right before the break, that this best of three has three maps that CCG really, really like.
Yeah, I mean, not the three maps exactly. Overpass is a map that they haven't played quite, quite a while. But it's probably one of the maps that they prefer to play more among the other maps that they do not play, because they have quite a lot of reps on it. Specifically, in the past couple of seasons, they have moved away from it. In this season, they played a lot more Anubis. We saw a few Ancients in there and a couple of Nukes as well. But Nuke is a map that they certainly enjoy playing a lot. They just haven't been able to get a lot of reps in because the other team usually ended up banning it out. So far, the Mapuitos look really strong for them. Stand on Business. They have some bad blood coming into this game already, because this was the second win which CCG had already gotten in the regular season. So if Stand on Business wishes to win this game out, they're gonna need to start off strong and win Overpass.
Yeah, definitely want to get this best of three started off with a dub. You don't want to have to put yourself into a reverse sweep situation right off the bat, especially to start off the playoffs. So it is in both of these teams' best interest to win out this first map. I would say it it would help CCG a lot more if they won this first map, considering that this is one of the maps that they don't play as much, but it's still better than some of the other maps, considering such as the Mirages and the other more default maps. I mean, one of the most played maps for this team is Anubis, and Nuke go to the third map. That's going to be the decider. That's another map that they are pretty fond of. It's definitely worth starting off strong on Overpass.
And speaking of starting things off, we are officially into the pistol round of the game. Drip a little bit aggressive over towards Toilets already. Spots a player out. A little bit of damage dealt. But that player lurking over towards Toilet is just trying to distract the rest of the team as four players stacked over towards Monster entering into the B side. Corin first line of defense eliminated out. Sights completely open. Drakes finds another to his name. And the B side and the bomb should get planted with ease. And now a fast retake trying to get into the side with Floridian. No space granted. Jay Casper finds a gap and has made it work behind Trip, finding a second frag. So 2 versus 3, looking at slightly possible as well. But the pinch being set up over towards short. Jay Casper finds another. He connects onto all three. Trip and Jay Casper with a 3 versus 5 to kick things off.
Goodness
Sorry, two
gracious.
versus five.
The retakes are just too clean and crispy. CCG, early aggression. They started off shaky. We're not going to deny that. It was a 5 versus 5, immediately turned to a 5 versus 2, but the retake from CCG was just too darn crispy, and they take the pistol.
Yeah, they lost all of the three players that were trying to hold on to the site immediately. But it didn't work out for them. Trip and Jay Casper rotate onto the side from two different areas, win their ones, and then somehow managed to pull it through. They never got a chance to even take any fights together. They just ended up getting isolated fights and won every single one of them. I don't think they even conceded some damage. So clean victories from both of those players to put CCG's first on board.
Looks like Stand On Business want to take this one a little bit slower. The pistol round was a little quick for my liking, a little bit quick for CCG's liking as well. They were able to get this retake. But now Stand On Business says, all right, we'll slow the pace down just a little bit as they start to take up a little bit of space near the playground, as well as trying to push up around that party room. But they aren't having as much success. They're not running into anybody to try to defend any key points just yet. However, it's only a little bit further down, and then we're going to start seeing some gunfights.
Yeah, revamps, clears that connector, and moves over towards A alongside the rest of his fellows. CCG, they have a lot, three players stacked over towards B, but eventually the rotation has to come through as they clear out Monster, at least for the time being. The number 4 player is going to rotate out. Corin spots one, has the Molotov primed up, and is going to keep the rest of the players at bay, though. One player has pushed up. It's going to be Winter, who's getting up close and personal. One player over towards long. The crossfire, good enough for one, but it's a 2-on-2 trade to kick things off here. Trip still alive somehow, but he's all that they have. Trip finds another last player alive, and he gets 4 again. Trip wins another one out for CCG, keeping his team strong to start things off.
I really like the idea from Stand On Business. They had a fantastic plan in mind, taking it really slow, playing very clumped up, but the Molotov forced them to make their move a little bit quicker than they wanted to. And from there on out, it was just a simple elimination game for CCG. 2 in a row, pushing Stand On Business back to essentially a pistol round. We've got 5 of them. We got a Desert Eagle and a CZ. Other than that, we just got 3 Glocks. No, 2 Glocks, sorry, and a P250. And it's not working any
Ooh.
better for Stand On Business. CCG just kill boxing everyone, and it's almost a flawless round.
Yeah, CCG off to a real good start. They're able to retain 3 rifles already to kick things off, as finally a full buy round coming in from the side of Stand On Business. And this is certainly not the start that you wish to have had on your own map pick. Although it is to be noted, Overpass is of course a CT-sided map. So CCG, they're probably gonna have their fun in the first half, but to lose the two rounds that they did in such a way where they had sort of an advantage to kick things off, especially in the pistol round, it was a 2 versus 5, and that's just gonna leave us a bad taste in your mouth.
Ooh, a great molly as well. Over near the fountain, we see Corrin getting involved. The pop flash from Jay Casper ends up ending the life of Winter. The 5 versus 4 early on, CCG looks really good. Oh, Chinchilla
Oh,
aggression
okay.
and catches the leg of Trake, but it's only good for 13 damage.
Yeah, and that frag that Goran found, you can tell how much impact it had. All of the players, they're hesitant to even make a move. They haven't cleared out a lot of space, and they don't have enough bodies to invest into pushing areas together as much. They spotted out a player outwards long, immediately gonna readjust and move away from that. They don't want to lose a fight. They're already at a disadvantage, and now their utility are starting to run out as well. They only have 3 flashes, a couple of smokes, and a molotov to help them through, and perhaps infiltrate a site. But Goran still holding down the A side strong. Drakes distracting.
More for Trake. They catch the headshot of Trip, but Corrin over near the bathroom catches one more before they are finally traded out. A-Site given over to stand on business. This will have to be the retake for CCG in a pretty even slate, but not for long. Jay Casper puts them back in front.
The molotov still to work with for the D side. Florida going to clear out enough space to allow Jason Chilla to come up as well. They have an HE grenade and a couple of fuse kits to help them through this. The molotov gets invested. Jason Chinchilla wants to get aggressive behind it, finds a major frag, leaving only one player behind who's sitting on 50 HP as well. He's gonna have to come out massively clutch, and no, he does! 5 HP, and he holds on to this round, the very first round for Stand on Business.
Oh no. CCG just getting undisciplined, not holding the angles. They think they're safe, but you're never safe. You
Yeah.
have to watch out for those angles. And this could end up being a massive seesaw type round for Stand on Business. Because look at the economy of CCG. It was so good, and all of a sudden, it's gone. They now have to resort to the MP9s.
Nah. If only they had a smoke in that moment, it would have changed the complete outcome of that round and perhaps the outcome of the economy as well. Trip falls early. That's an M4 drop for somebody else to be picked up. That was Floridian who gets one onto his hands, but an early man disadvantage yet again, and this time around it's Strip who has been the key player so far for CCG. Fallen.
One thing I do want to point out, CCG getting aggressive, and Miles has an easy kill on it. One more time is
The timing.
Floridia and Corrin. What a timing. My goodness, 1 versus 3. Likely another round going the way of Stand on Business with just an MP9 in hand. Is Jay Casper to clutch, and it's not going to happen this time. And now we have a full-on eco. The richest player on CCG only has $2,500. And I wanted to mention before that round really got kicked off, I loved the positioning of CCG, but then they got a little too aggressive. They got overzealous, and then they just got stomped out. You have to play careful. You can't give them too much too early.
Absolutely cannot. Now, a little bit of an economy is starting to develop for the side of Stand on Business. This should be a rather easier round one for them, as the AT grenades have done quite a lot of damage already to kick things off. Surprisingly, Corrin has found a frag and another that stood to his name, and some hopes of some hopes alive for CCG. At least it was until Corrin was alive. But Trip being the final player doesn't have a lot of HP. Probably wanted a good enough time to possibly just retrieve a weapon and then go get off of something. But not a clean third round as Stand on Business would have probably hoped for. But it's a round nonetheless, which is going to tie things up 3-3 as CCG buys up with the rifles yet again.
It's a fundamentalist eco round. You can't really ask for much better than that. You stripped away a lot of guns. You stripped away a lot of time as well. And you hurt the mental game, if nothing else. You got a lot more than you expected to with just 5 pistols, so we will take that every single time. It's 5 rifles, 4 CCG, and already it's a lot of explosions. It's a lot of fire coming out over towards the B site. It seems like Stand On Business have their point already decided, but the question is CCG going to give it to them that easily? Floridia's trying to spray through this wall, take a little bit of HP off of anyone that they can. However, Stand On Business is not making it easy.
Slower approach. Slower than even the rounds prior to this one. Good flash. Spots one out. JJ Jitula
Great flash.
capitalizes. Another flash to help JJ Jitula pass through and live to see another day. As finally the presence of Stand on Business being acknowledged over towards the B side. But they're once again slowing down a little bit, perhaps. May decide, thinking of making a rotation as the bomb is making its way back. Or no, they're actually just setting up a lineup. They want to go in still. Oh no! That's gonna hurt the train! It's messed up the timing, and hence the player. Oh god. The player sustains a little bit of damage. The timing doesn't work out. Winter's wait. Trip finds another to his name, leaving only 2 players behind it. I wouldn't be surprised if they go, if they offer a save, because there is an op alive. The player only has $100 in the bank, but the rest, they are looking good, but they just don't have enough time. It is going to be a save, or at least they're looking for it. Reavamp's not going to be allowed to do so, and CCG come out strong, a flawless 4th victory on overpass, and it was to it was to some extent. It should be credited to the train.
Yeah, I was just about to say the MVP of the round was Floridian. I disagree. Counter-Strike, that was the train the entire way. Congratulations, Floridian. They had a good round. They got quite a couple of kills, but I mean, come on now. We got to give a shout out to that train. Back
Yeah.
into the round, going into round A, we're nearing the finishing points of this first half. This is where the round can be, what? JJ Chinchilla just took a lot of fall damage anyway. This is where the half can really be made or broken. Every round from here on out is going to matter so much more, and they are absolutely playing like it. Jay Casper lets them line up.
I absolutely love this from CCG. They win a flawless round, and their confidence, it's all the way back up now, and you can see that in their aggression. They were playing aggressive over towards Monsters, they were playing aggressive over towards A as well, and hence those 2 kills being lined up for Jay Casper with ease, no trades whatsoever, and an early 2-man disadvantage for Stand on Business. It seems like CCG, they hesitated for a little bit and lost those 3 rounds, but as soon as they've made their way back onto the round win, they found their proper rhythm, they found their footing, and they know exactly what's working against Stand on Business, so they're just capitalizing on that.
Oh, and Corrin.
Elite timing.
45 seconds to go. Revamps is very, very lit. The Opera is still alive, but you have to watch out for this. How are you going to take down all 5 of them with a very lit rifler and an Opera with only $100?
You can't. Theoretically, at the very least, you can.
I think this is a save again.
Who goes?
My goodness.
Grenade to clean up. Revamp scoring picks off the Opera as well. And a pistol round this time now for the side of Stand on Business as CCG finally starting to retain some momentum on their side. 5 round wins. This should be their 6th as well, since they are going up against pistols. But now their economy finally developed as well. We see pretty much 4K all across the board and up in the hands of Jay Casper as well. It's been a while since we saw Jay Casper on the op. Trip has usually been playing it, although Jay Casper is the primary opper, but Trip has been feeling a little bit more comfortable on it. But Jay Casper, he's
Ooh.
back in the mood, he's back in the groove, and he's back with the shots. First blood, retained. Second, gotten. Corrin finds the third, leaving only two behind. He's looking for more, couldn't connect, but he has the help needed to finish the round off with ease. Revamps does pick off J Casper, but CCG are not going to be too worried about it as the sixth round gets on board.
First half's looking really, really good. Nearing that double digits as we've actually started the first double digit round of the half and of the game. Round 10 about to get underway. Get a bit more of a stable economy for stand on business. It's going to help them out quite a bit. But we also have to watch out for CCG's economy, as of course, this is an even round, but they have so much economy built up from rounds of past that they should be able to lose these last three, and they're still going to be able to full buy from here on out throughout the rest of the half.
Good
This is
smoke.
fantastic utility usage by CCG. Just smoke after smoke, allowing for very little
Oh,
visibility.
good flash.
Oh,
The aim didn't follow up though. J-Trip falls as well. And the center should not have been this easy for the side of Sound on Business, but they've made it work. Three kills already gone their way. It's now Jay Casper and Corrin to potentially pull this round back, but it's just not happening as Corrin falls as well. Jay Casper only has an op in his hand, and he's probably just going to look for some exit frags. Jay Chinchilla, that flash was absolutely beautiful. Had he connected onto even a single player, perhaps there would have been, perhaps the outcome would have been different, because then Trip would have been able to find another frag possibly and not get overwhelmed by three players head on through that smoke. So that just bad timing for JJ Chinchilla, and hence a round victory for Stand on Business.
not much you can say to it. Just unfortunate timing, unfortunate aim. The whiffs always come on the easiest kills, but that's all right. Still six. Worst case scenario for CCG is we go into the halftime with a tie ball game. The economy's not looking as good as it did in the last round, but we still have enough to buy up. If we can get a couple of frags at least, then things will still be completely fine. I mean, CT side has been very blessing for CCG. If we can get a couple more, even just one more, that would be fantastic. Going to halftime 7-5, we take that. We take those every day. Frag starting to come out for CCG and utility. Yet again, keeping stand on business at bay rather than trying to play with their guns. They're using their utility first, only using the guns if necessary, not trying any crazy flash plays. Last time they tried it, didn't quite work out. It ended up giving over a flawless round of stand on business, which I really like to see the adaptation for CCG. With just 1 minute to go, stand on business is playing this really, really slow.
Yeah, changing up the pace a little bit. Last time around, they got fairly aggressive into the side. Didn't waste a lot of time before heading in, but there have been quite a few rounds where the clock has ticked down to just 10 seconds remaining. So they can't make that mistake continuously. They have to make up for it. Corn, first blood, traded out immediately. Aggression showing itself over towards B and dealt with immediately. JJ Chisella this time around not gonna miss his shots and puts a man advantage up for CCG as the rotation has come in from the side of Floor Idiot. Another player joining them soon, but Trip actually just moving back, making sure that it's not a fake. Oh, Florida barely survives that fight, 3 HP. Jay Casper to help him out, and he's gonna finish things off as well. The captain leading from the front in that round. CCG confirmed that they're gonna have at least a 2-round lead heading into the second half.
Good stuff. Like I said, we cannot argue with that, and we'll never complain about it. But we can do a little bit better. We might get a little bit greedy, but 8-4 has a much nicer ring to it than 7-5. That last round looked really clean. And if we can get a couple more of those, maybe going into the T-sided half, then this might be an easier map one than we might have thought. We'll have to see how this last round of the half goes. Early on, Corrin has a very zealous grenade. Does not quite do any damage, but you gotta respect the attempt.
Certainly. Didn't make any contact, but as you said, nice effort nonetheless. This one though, it's gonna connect.
Oh,
Miles, 25 HP, just taking it off in the blink of an eye. Not drop now. Hopefully, it doesn't doesn't
he's,
meet the
he's
train this
waiting for the
time.
train. He
Yeah.
doesn't want it to happen again.
Chinchilla once again a familiar angle, and this time around finds another. The Molotov gonna isolate a couple more fights out, but still trades back and forth. Miles somehow manages to pull 2 frags in a row. The HE grenade!
Oh my-
Jay Casper gets 2 behind it, and suddenly revamps from 3 versus 2 to suddenly in a 1 versus 2. They just his teammates just vanished in thin air within 2 seconds.
And for my next trick, I will make 2 terrorists disappear. What a grenade. Absolutely stellar way to end off the first half. We go into the side switch with a huge 2-round momentum. Let's see
Whoa.
if this team can keep this up. We switch sides. It's time for CCG's T side to come on out. Let's see how they can attack this.
Jay Casper, the magician. 13 frags, 5 deaths. And that's a 2.6 KD right there, ladies and gentlemen, by the end of the first half. And he's probably looking for more. Jaden Chinchilla, though, he's the most aggressive player so far. All 5 players stacked up together. CCG doing their due diligence, playing the slow. But eventually are going to meet a couple of players over towards toilets. Casper, first one to get taken out of the equation. Breaks. Oh no, he's found another. This is not looking good. The trade is going to come through, but the damage may have already been done. Never mind, the equalizer provided from Chinchilla. And Trip to follow up with another. Yet again, the pistol round, which started off strong for Stand on Business, is starting to fall apart. But the 2-man flank coming in. Timing's going to be everything. A safe plant for Corrin. The read's perfect.
They're going to manage this. Revamps and Miles. They are trailing by 1 man. Yet CCG just playing a little bit further back, not allowing any easy gunfights. They peek out, they get a bit of information, but in comes the dualies, running as quick as possible, and Miles gets slammed down to the ground. One more time for Revamps, almost out of bullets. With the last one, they take down JJ, but the time is ticking. They don't have a kit. This will likely be the end of this round. They go headhunting. Revamps finally finds another one, and at the end, Corrin grabs the head of Revamps with the Glock. A little close for comfort, but CCG, no sweat here.
Absolutely not. There may have been some sweat at the start of the round, but Jay, Chinchilla, Trip, and Corrin, all 3 of them, get a kill each to their name to allow CCG to infiltrate the site. And now we see potentially the 10th round on board, or theoretically it should be, since it is not a buy. We only see a flash getting invested into from Stand on Business. Other than that, all of the money that was sent to the arsenal, to the weapons factory, was sent by CCG. 3 Mac-10s have been bought up, a couple of Galils as well, but they're still playing this slow. They'll not get caught off guard. Corrin, he's holding the back lines. He couldn't find a frag somehow, but his fellow certainly did. Jay Casper again with the grenade, and finds another with the SMG. So only with the loss of 1, CCG have put up double digits officially and gotten their 10th round.
Somebody's got to take this guy's frag grenade privileges away. Jay Casper has been popping off with these frag grenades. That's the third frag kill that they have gotten this game. The first one, of course, ended off the half in an amazing way, getting a double kill with one grenade. That one, a little bit of an assist from another player, but still, those frags are very difficult to get these kills with, and they are just
And
doing it time and time again. Third round about to get underway, and look at this, rushing through the Molotov, and it does not work out for CCG.
not even close. All of them just walked straight into the crossfire of Stand on Business, and that's a C4 dropped as well. It's gonna be highly difficult to get it back. The only thing going for CCG so far in this round is the fact that there isn't a lot of utility remaining for the side of Stand on Business. A player spotted out for either side. The nade not gonna connect. Oh, the Molotov missed as well. That could have potentially allowed Trip to get a frag, as he could have forced revamps out of his positioning, but the smoke was immediately gonna follow it up, so revamps theoretically should have been fine. We never get to see that alternate reality. The 2 versus 4 still. They want to go for this. They have a flash to potentially help them out, and a couple of smokes as well to cut off some angles. Both of them getting in. All of the utility has been invested into. 3 players available to defend. Trip already forced back a little bit. And Drake's just holding down. Waiting.
To the
Eventually,
smoke.
Florida peaks and meets his demise. This is the round done and dusted. 5th on board, 4 stand on business. CCG can see their first in the second half.
Eventually it was going to happen. I think they got a little overheated there. I'm not going to lie. Running through the Molotov? Really? It's a very gutsy call, and there's a time and a place for it. Not whenever you are coming off of the pistol and the anti-eco. Maybe later on in the half, maybe even in the pistol round, but not whenever you're still building up that economy, because now the economy is gone. All that building you've done has been completely erased off the table. Stand on business looks really good again.
That they do. At least for the time being, in terms of the arsenal that they have. CCG though, not so much. They still have managed to scrape together something. We see an AWP in the hands of Jake Asper. We see an AK, a Galil, and a couple of pistol upgrades. Jake Asper, the magician, puts his AWP to work.
Oh,
Floridian gets another to his name. Winter does try to neutralize the advantage, but there's still one more to be dealt with. Floridian down to just 4 HP, so he's gonna drop that rifle again. I'm not sure if somebody else picked it up, but he's just gonna play up close and personal, trying to get somebody off guard perhaps, but he should get spotted out. Trip trying to keep them away. 7 HP remaining on Winter. Natrap on a boost. Deals with Goran. 2 versus 4. Floridian spotted out as well. He's likely not gonna be able to provide anything, Joey, so it's all down to Jay Casper. 1 versus 3. A lot of damage taken. Winter falls to his... He gets fall damage, but Natrap still lives long enough to win this round out. And that should not have been as close as it got. What? Why did Winter jump?
I don't know. Okay, so Winter jumped down. You can use the slide to not take damage, right?
Yeah.
You take 0 damage if you use the little 45 degrees stomp, right?
But you get, I think you're a little bit more exposed when you jump down. So you probably didn't want to do that and instead handed them a free frag. I guess. I can't make it up. Anyhow, moving on to the next round. CCG finds builds some utility, but realistically not looking great for this round.
We've seen some aggressive plays, but usually they start out with a kill, or at least something better than getting your first player taken down with the op. One more time, forced into a 1 versus 3. Trip has a shot, but they can only grab one. And Natarip ends this round out yet again. As we have succeeded 3 in a row, CCG needs to get things underway. We might be nearing timeout territory.
Yeah, if they lose one more, I think that is pretty much timeout territory,
For
and that's where
sure.
you start to worry that okay, maybe we have a comeback on our hands that we need to deal with. So CCG, they really need to keep their cushion, their safety cushion safe, and ensure that they retain the lead, at least a 3 or 2 round lead. But if they lose this one, that 2 round lead is going to be out of question as well because they have absolutely no money in the reserves either. Another great nade, but this time around it was Jake Gasper on the receiving end of it. Corin, though, once again, good first blood, follows up with another. The aggression that Sound on Business wanted to test out or towards Playground doesn't exactly work out in their favor.
Lot lost on that first engagement for Stand on Business. This is a huge plus for CCG. There's the B site completely undefended. We cannot forget about that. There's revamps in Sniper's Nest, but all it takes is one smoke or one good shot, and they are completely de-utilized. CCG, all it takes is one good move, and this round is all but secured. As in it comes, the solid flash, the shots not quite landing. Revamps able to grab one. But the frag grenade's going to push them out. Even better, Jay Casper does it again. That's their 4th frag kill of the game, and the bomb's going to be planted uncontested.
How? That's the only question I have. How? Four frags. That's quite a lot for even a
That is
single
a
player.
lot.
But it is gonna be a save for the side of Stand on Business. They want to hold on to that M4 and an op. Plus those couple of defuse kits and full armors as well. So it's understandable given the CT economy currently and how it just works generally. It's just not in a pretty. It's just not pretty right now in CS. So and that's gonna be a cherry on the top for that say streaks find another. CCG though gonna be happy with that round win because now they have a 4 round cushion, only 2 away from clinching out Stand on Business's map as well. Again, this
Yes,
is the
so
first game of
close.
playoffs, so every map counts.
Yeah, we do have a best of 3 on our hands, so it's not going to be one and done for either one of these teams. Even if you lose map 1, you still have your second chance, which your second chance will be Anubis today, with Nuke being the decider if we need to go to it. At the moment, CCG is looking really, really good. Like you said, it's just 2 more rounds and they will put themselves onto match point, which would be the best case scenario considering second round is Anubis. CCG and Anubis go together like bread and butter, peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and chocolate. I can go on and on.
Wait, what? Did you? Okay,
Sorry,
peanut butter
American
and
thing.
chocolate.
That's an
I lo-
American thing.
Okay.
Try it.
uh,
Just try it.
that. I mean, we'll have some discussions after this game is done. But for the time being, we have some prior other things that we need to prioritize. Last time around, both of these teams faced off. CCG won that game, 13-7 on Anubis. It seems like we may be on a different map, but the scoreline is looking highly familiar. The
Oh, good
results
shot.
could be different. Natrap, he's certainly looking for those different results, but the timings don't exactly work out in his favor. Corbin turns and burns onto Winter.
What a flick. Corin nearly just breaks his neck to get that kill in a 4 versus 2. Match point is around the corner for CCG. The bomb goes down. And how in the world is Revamps and Miles going to get this retake? They have the M4s. They have a bit of utility. But CCG has the raw manpower.
Flick, Goran with those with those initial frags in every round. Jay Casper with with those AG grenades. Uh, dripping those pistol rounds or those early rounds of every half, and Floridian just coming out of nowhere sometimes, and James Chinchilla just doing his honestly just being consistent throughout the game as well. Everybody's doing their own thing right now for CCG, and it's working out absolutely beautifully for them, and as they now head into the potentially the final round, as map point have been achieved, a 5 round lead, so they don't have a lot to worry about. Then, although the same cannot be said for Stand on Business, this is their own map pick, but it's not going as well as they probably would have anticipated.
Need a 5 round comeback on an eco round. The best gun they have is M4. Thankfully, they got 2 of them, but they also have a UMP and 2 MP9. So it's not the best look here for this Stand on Business CT side. Of course,
Aggressive.
CCG still looking really good and, yes, very aggressive. Is Stand on Business. I feel like this is the only chance they have. Aggression needs to be key. CCG, they're not playing over aggressive. They don't got a big ego. They are just staying cool, calm, and collected. However, they now have an M4, or rather an AK-47, just taken off the table, stolen away by Stand on Business.
Certainly. They need to utilize those SMGs properly, and since that is much more of their manpower than the rifles, they have to ensure that they enable them properly. Hence that aggression which we saw, and it has worked out so far. They've found a frag, but can they convert around behind it is the real question. CCG keeping things slow for the time being. Finally, some progress being made over towards A as we see a player pushed up all the way over towards A long. Actually, a couple of them, and now the whole team is making their way except one. The timing is gonna be big for the number 4 player for CCG, as he might get caught off guard. Oh no, he's stuck into toilets, but he's heard a player. They know exactly where Drake's is, and he gets shot down. Almost got away with the frag, and Corin, he's pushed all the way up. Nat Trap dealt with as well. Floridian, though, eventually is gonna fall. Corin, once again, flicks onto the final player, and somehow I believe he found three or four in that round as well, just flicking onto all of them.
My goodness. What are these flicks? Is your wrist okay? Do you need like a brace? I have you. I have a brace right here, man. Like, what are those? That is absolutely insane. Corin, put some respect on this guy's name, because if you don't, they're going to break their wrist trying to shoot you with that AK. I mean, it's just a matter of time before one of the shots hit. Corin played crazy. CCG gets this job done. And I mean, a 133 ADR is insanity. The only player in the lobby with triple digits, by the way.
Yeah, 23 kills, 13 deaths, almost a 2 KD with 20 plus kills. It's really
Wow.
impressive CCG. I mean, honestly, remaining consistent throughout, and remaining consistent in the scoreline which they've had against Stand on Business as well. But that was only map 1 of the series. We have another map coming up at the very least, which is going to be a Nubis Stand on Business as they look for redemption and look to keep themselves into the winners bracket. They're going to try to clinch out the map, the very map where CCG beat them first at. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be an exciting fight.
And welcome back to the CCG Esports Twitch channel. It's still Tucker Haynes, it's still Inflict, and we are still on this best of 3 playoff matchup. First map went the way of CCG in a fairly one-sided fashion. It was 13-7. Could have been better, could have been worse. But now we go to Anubis. This has been the Cook Central of CCG throughout the entire season. Anubis and CCG have gone to each other time and time again, and this time it means so much more.
It absolutely does. Quite surprised by the fact that Stand on Business actually didn't decide to ban it. They instead banned out Ancient, and but it might just be that it's just a perma ban. Ancient is just a perma ban for Stand on Business, so that could potentially hurt them. And it probably will because, as I said, CCG they just absolutely love playing on Anubis. They've had most of their games of the regular season on Anubis, so they're very well versed on the game. They have quite a lot of wins as well, but they have a few losses as well, which granted them knowledge about their potential mistakes. So they are aware about what mistakes they can make. They have tested things out in the regular season as well, and it is a map which has helped them get the 12th placement in heading into the playoffs as well. So it's not absolutely not going to be easy for Stand on Business, especially considering the fact that Stand on Business have already conceded a loss to CCG on this particular map in the very second game of the regular season.
Stand on Business winning the knife round and then deciding to go onto the CT side, or rather the T side, forcing CCG onto the CT side. And early on, first couple of engagements go the way of the Stand on Business T push. CCG starting to trail just a little bit. They try to keep this thing close, but it's looking really awkward in a 2 versus 3 on this retake. The bomb is down. They want to play ring around the rosy. However, Stand on Business not going to let them, as it's just chip damage for chip damage for chip damage. But somehow, CCG still keeps this round close.
Surprisingly, I mean, Piston Rounds has been quite a turn of events so far in this year so far, but now finally a pistol goes the way of Stand on Business. It got close yet again, but this time around, last time around, Trip alongside Jay were able to convert a 2 versus 5. Not the same case this time around, and CCG with an early loss. And on Anubis, the T side is favorable, so it's understandable why exactly Stand on Business opt to go for the T side, and that winning that knife round is sorry, going on the T side is actually going to be highly beneficial for them, given that CCG have a great momentum coming in with a 13-7 victory on Stand on Business's map pick as well. So what Stand on Business desperately need is to have a good start on map 2.
For sure. They can't start sluggish, and by no means did they in the pistol round, but just because you have a good pistol round does not mean you are completely set for the rest of the half. You have to stay proactive. You can't get too comfortable, especially with a team like CCG. They will kick you out every step of the way if you let them. So SOB needs to play very proactive, and they need to stay in control for as long as possible. See the first bit of fighting going over near the B side.
Rotation coming in. Mid presence, quite a lot of it. Goran's gonna be the only player to deal with it. A 5-7, it connects though. Will get traded out. But he's gained a lot of information. Now Trip has to deal with 4. Deals a little bit of damage, but not significant enough to have converted it into a frag. Floridian falls as well, leaving only 2 players behind, holding onto an MP9 and a scout. So it's likely just going to be a save for Jason Angela and Jay Casper. As
I I don't see a world they force this. I think you got to save this, considering you got the scout, considering you got the Galil as well. It's better to just let them have this one, not try to force the 2v4 because it's likely not going to happen.
yeah, I mean it could, but had they had perhaps a defuse kit, maybe it would have been slightly more favorable, because we have seen 2 versus 5s as well. So it's not completely out of the world, but of course it's just not gonna make sense for them to go and retaking sites on Anubis, particularly A, is really difficult when you have absolutely no utility to help yourself out to head into the site. You need some flashes, you need some smokes to be able to get some space back, because if you don't have any of that, we've even seen teams do 4 players just going for a safe because they ran out of flashes and smokes while the bomb was planted at A. So it's understandable. CCG, their economy not so great either, so the Galil and the Scout are really going to be their only ray of hope in this round as well.
Starts off pretty well. It gets Trakes down very low. There we see
Ooh.
Chinchilla grabbing one frag, but no more is left in the chamber. For finally, Winter jumps up, jumping around with the MAC-10, getting a big impact frag. With a 1 versus 4, Trip left with just a USP. They have no armor. They have no leads. They don't have anything to save either, so you might as well just rush in and try to get as much as possible, even if it's probably not going to be too much. Another thing they could try is an exit frag, but I really don't think Stand on Business is going to exit anywhere close. They got a bit of an upgrade, whether the USPS to the 5.7 and a Zeus, but it's not going to help them out at all. Winter just has the better weaponry.
Plain and simple. A 4 players alive, 4 stand on business, or sob. I just realized it. By the end of the third round, they're off to a really strong start. Pretty much the same start that CCG had on map number 1, but are CCG gonna retaliate the same way which SOB did on map number 1? They lost 3 rounds, but they came back with 3 more of their own. Afterwards, things started to fall apart. That was probably the most consistency that we saw out of Stand on Business on map number 1, but CCG, they probably want to make an early comeback into this game. Because no matter how strong the D side is, you want to have a competitive round count heading into the second half.
Sure. We were just talking about how this side is a little bit more T-sided, but at the same time, you cannot forfeit round after round after round. You have to make it competitive. Anything worse than 4 to 8 is pretty much no man's land, which of course it's still very early. There's no need to worry about it just yet, but you need to make up a little bit of ground. You've lost the first 3, and they haven't been particularly close either. So I feel like that
Yeah.
should change as soon as possible. This is the round to do it, considering your buy and also Stand on Business is not 100% perfect. Yours is. So this is where you need to make some ground up. You need to win this round.
Yes. Stand on Business already running out of utility, but they have made their way onto the site. Freaks. The jump didn't work out, and hence gets spotted. Given that audio cue, Floridian finds another. As the retake is finally starting to come in, 2 players extremely weak for the side of CCG. One of them already fallen. The trade's coming through, but Revamps lines up 3, keeping his team alive. But Corin responds back with 2 more of his own to finally put this round to bed as CCG convert their first.
They had to have it, and thus they do. A great retake, losing a couple of bodies, but you're gonna get those guns back with the defuse bonus. So this should be another competitive round. It's not like you got left in a 1 versus 1 with no money to spare. CCG can capitalize off of that and maybe turn this into a streak. They get the defuse. Be really nice if they could deny SOB from getting the side altogether.
Certainly. CCG looking to keep this going. The economy on the side off. Sound business though real strong. You see an AWP coming into the play. Hasn't really been impactful for them so far. Or it wasn't at the very least on map number 1. Let's see if they can change that around, because it can be highly influential on Anubis if given the right positioning and timings.
SOB taking this pretty slow. Not wanting to push too far up too quickly.
Oh, good, Molly.
Great Molotov. That should force Winter out of their position, but it doesn't look like it gets into that nook in the corner. So Winter will actually be able to just chill out there for a little bit. 1 minute to go. The swing comes out for Idiot, does a little bit of damage,
No.
but Trakes just gets worse and worse. CCG gives up easy frags, as well as the site. Not just the 2 big frags, the impactful frags. They also give up B site, and I feel like you have to save. I know it's a 3 versus 5, but you have no economy backed up.
Yeah, I mean it looked good towards the start. for CCG. They had isolated quite a few players out. Their Molotovs were landing as well, but that just one timing which went wrong was Jason Chinchilla getting forced to push up and take that fight over towards water, courtesy of that Molotov thrown by Miles, I believe, forcing Jason Chinchilla to take that fight. Sorry, Floridia to take that fight. Jason Chinchilla left all alone on the site, had to deal with four players, couldn't even find out one, and hence a three-man save coming in for CCG.
Eco still looking okay for CCG. And if they didn't save that, it would have been a lot worse. They can definitely make this round doable. They need to play really well. None of the players for them are positive. The closest we have is Corin at 3-3. JJ Chinchilla is next up at 3-4. And it simply comes down to the shots at this point. The positioning's been okay, but compared to map 1, the accuracy and just the gunplay has been really subpar.
That it has. But we are early into the game, so and if J Casper's magic reignites, we might see some frag kills coming in to the mix. So
No need for the guns when you got Jay Casper's grenades.
yeah. What do you mean you have to peek people to kill them? I have grenades.
You don't. I can throw it, and it's going to explode. It's going to get some damage. It's going to get some kills.
Slow round from Sound
Very
Business.
slow.
Yeah. But finally some determination to head over towards B. CCG not as aggressive anymore. Floridian and Jason Chinchilla, both of them tucked into in their own respective corners. Chinchilla spotted out, but that Molotov gonna keep them safe for the time being. Floridian probably spotted out as well, given the trajectory of that Molotov. But oh, Winter sustains quite a lot of damage. Probably should not have, but a nice crossfire setup allows two frags to go the way of CCG. But Sound Business answer back with three of their own. Drip, he gets another, ties up the man advantage. Miles forced to reload, 30 HP on him. Jason Chilla spots him out and gets him through the smoke. 1 versus 2, the final player, location unknown, but Drip gets him.
There we go. Great retake. They don't have a kit, but I think they have enough time. Yeah, they got enough time. No need to stress. This is another round for CCG, but I'm going to be honest. The mechanical mishaps definitely coming out to play in that round. And I know it's not too bad, but I really would like to see CCG take a timeout. It feels like they're just not locked in at the moment, which is kind of odd to take a timeout for, but it could be the difference between losing by a lot and making this game competitive again.
Certainly could be. CCG. Now this time around, switching things up a little bit. 3 players over towards B, but they're going to quickly change that. We see it potentially 2 players rotating out, but no. Oh, they're thinking against it. Once again, keeping that same stance. I mean, the read is good for the time being. The bomb is over towards B. But the distractions over towards A are certainly intriguing. The nade connects. Deals a little bit of damage onto both of the players, both of the T players.
Frags are good.
Sound Business have readjusted their positioning. Heading on over towards A. They want to pressurize mid this time, where James Chinchilla wants to peek out behind the flash, but this has to respect the smoke. Goran gonna be the first line of defense from middle. He has to face off against 3. It's not gonna be pretty whatsoever. Trip is gonna be on an island as soon as Goran falls. He's gonna have a lot to deal with. He's gonna get immediately overwhelmed, so Goran needs to be a key player here. And he can't. Trip only good for 1. Shut down. And hence a 3 versus 4. CCG immediately responding from middle yet again. Jayjula fast behind the flash, gets one, traded out, but the lineup is perfect. They're all lining up. Jay Casper gets another with the op, and Floridian with the MP9 somehow provides two to put the third on board. CCG are finding their footing on the CT side of map of Anubis.
I said that they should probably call a timeout. They don't need to call a timeout. They realize, hey, we can talk between rounds. We don't need to call a timeout. They're locked in. This is a CCG team that I know, that I love, and that is going to be a huge part. And as I say that, they call a timeout. I'm not 100% sure why. They start to flip the momentum back in their favor, and then they call the timeout.
Yeah, perhaps they
They,
want to ensure that they keep it going. They want to
yeah.
completely break the bank on the side of stand on business. They had SOB has had enough economy to be able to fully purchase into every single one of these rounds that they've lost so far. But if they lose this round, their money is going to be finally broken, and CCG would tie up the scoreline as well. Potentially get a lead behind the pistol round that would follow after this theoretical victory. So CCG, they might just have the advantage, but just behind this round, it's gonna be absolutely pivotal.
That is very true. Need to get one more, and then the economy of stand on businesses one more time. I kind of caster's curse the timeout. I guess you could call it that. Either way, we'll see how
Wouldn't
this works
timeouts
out
aren't
for
exactly a curse.
CCG. They're not, but oh wait,
They may have done something good.
Trip gets a little aggressive there. The zeal is really starting to come out, showing its ugly head, and Trip says, no, I'm better than that. I'm going to stay back. It might just save their life a little bit down the line. I feels like Stand on Business is starting to break down just a little bit as in comes a lot of utility, but they are just not having
Oh, great
any
timing.
any form or reason to the madness. They're just kind of pushing.
The timing was absolutely gorgeous for Korin. He picks one player off just before the smoke fades in. It's gonna deal a little bit more damage onto Winter. But a smoke to isolate the fight out towards B main. They might not be aware of Drake's positioning. The crossfire being set up, but Gorin, he somehow gets out on top. The push through the smoke comes in, leaving only Natrap behind. A 1 versus 2. He gets one, but couldn't find the second. Trip getting the final two, and we are officially tied up in the very first half of Anubis. CCG showing their prowess on this map. And the economy
Yeah.
almost. Wait, I thought it would be broken, but I guess the loss bonus is just enough to give them. It grants them 3K. They all of them pretty much had 1K already in the bank, so they're not completely broken. But after this, they will be.
Yeah, they got one last life. The Counter-Strike Eco Gods giving them one last chance. That will be it. And also, we also have to talk about the plant bonus as well. They've gotten the bomb
Oh,
down every single round that they have lost. It's been 3 retake wins for CCG. Still not the best look for Stand on Business, but it helps their ill wallet out just a little bit. And like I said last round, Stand on Business, they had a very hard hitting push, but it felt like there was no form and there really wasn't a posture to it. They were just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing if it stuck. And sure it did, but once the retake hit, they were pretty much done and dusted from there on
oh,
out. And with Jay
gorgeous.
Casper on the op, you really have got to watch out to what angle you're peeking.
Yeah, he didn't even want to peek that with a gun. Had his Molotov out, but wasn't expecting Jay Casper to have been so aggressive. Gets punished for it. But now, finally some movement over towards the B side yet again this time around. Floridian and James, both of them really passive. A lineup, gorgeous. Both of the frags going the way of CCG, although they lost one player in the process, but it's highly impactful as only 2 players remain. Forced down on business. The Molotov gonna force them out. They're forced to peek Korin.
Oh
And
my.
one burns to the flames of Jay Casper. The Magician is finally awake yet again as the 5th round gets put on board for CCG.
That's 4 in a row as well. And they have all been defusal wins, which albeit a win is a win. But at some point, you gotta stop them from getting onto the site. but they don't think so. They are perfectly fine with where they are at. If they can keep doing this consistently, I don't have a problem with it either, but it might change later on in the series, more like later on in this half. Of course, they only have a couple of more, and then they switch over to their T side. But I would like to see them deny them from sight at least once.
It would be nice, but I feel like CCG are just much more comfortable in trying to set them up to take disadvantageous fights while they're in the site. CCG perhaps are much more prepared for it to do that, to set up sound on business for defeat while they're in the site. So perhaps that's just what has really been working out for them so far in the past 4 rounds, which they've won. Can they keep the streak going is the real question. A lot of aggression this time around over towards middle. I believe we do have Corin or Jason Chinchilla over there to hold it down. Yeah, Corin, he's gonna potentially try to find the timing. He can line up two. He gets three!
Oh, what a play. What a shot from Trip as well. And it's up to Miles. What a round from the entirety of CCG. They are here to play. They are here to win. They want to get their way into the top of the top. And just as I said it, I would love to see a round where they deny them from sight. Bingo! Jackpot! CCG gives me exactly what I wanted.
Oh, Corin, you beauty. The man was hitting ridiculous flicks on map 1 and absolutely fantastic timings that he's been getting on map 2 so far. And mind you, this is the CT side for Anubis as well. It's not generally not as good as the T side, but they've still gotten a 2-round advantage, and we still have 2 more rounds. CCG making it look like it might just be a CT-sided map, as finally the economy has been broken down, and it's not going to be a problem to get the 7th on board, and hence the lead confirmed in the first half of map 2.
Beautiful stuff. 6 rounds in a row for CCG going into the last round of the first half. And I want to know, wondering why. I'm wondering why Stand On Business has not decided to take their timeout. I mean, they got timeouts too. We saw CCG use one a little bit ago. They finally won one, and it ended up working out in a huge, huge way. But Stand On Business completely neglecting their timeouts.
Perhaps the pressure is just too much, and they can't think as good as they'd probably like to, but same as the case for Trip, I believe. Got a little too over-aggressive, punished as well immediately. And finally, CCG, it's been a while since they were at an early man disadvantage, but they certainly are in this round. Trip fallen, that's an op which potentially can be picked up if Sound and Business wishes to.
This is the first round in a while that they have the advantage going into the midway point. It's in their best interest to make something out of it. At the moment, it looks like they're a deer in the headlights. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to push. Miles barely has a safe spot as in comes the push.
Oh, no.
JJ Chinchilla, we're not going to talk about it. They somehow managed to stay alive for now as in comes the shots from CCG looking to deny this access to site. And
Corin?
teaming up.
Corin?
That's a 3K for Corin. 1 versus 1. And this could be a huge 1v1. Corin's got 3. They need to find a 4th. Huge
Not
frag
again.
as well. Very lit. Around the Rosie. And Corin loses. Stand On Business. Break the streak. And that was 100% required for Winter.
Oh, God. Corin is gonna give me a heart attack someday. He was just standing in a smoke, just passing chaos through to everybody. Gets 3 somehow while in the smoke, potentially the 4th as well. That grenade was absolutely Absolutely beautiful. Had he been a little bit more closer to the player, to Winter, that nade would have done just enough damage to finish him off and confirm that 1 versus 4 for Corrin. But it sucks. But I'm not entirely sure if CCG are gonna be too mad about it because they already have a 2 round lead heading into the T side of Anubis. They didn't have a good start, but the reawakening certainly has been fantastic.
Shots come out. Take Casper. Early shot, early headshot as well with the P250. And Natrap not able to deny as we see the push. Floridian leading the charge, getting on to the A site. This should be a pretty easy site check for CCG. But Natrap says, hold on a second. We keep this round close. Turn it into a 4
Never
versus
mind.
4. Not for long, though. In comes Cora with a double. There we see Floridia finally coming out. And there's the 3K for the big man, Corinthian.
Yeah, 3K in the first round as well. This man is absolutely, without a question, the MVP for CCG so far. 23 frags and 13 deaths on map number 1. Currently sitting on 15 frags and 9 deaths. The uh, leading player in terms of kills in this map as well so far. And he's certainly going to look to increase that number, considering he is the only player with an AK for the side of CCG. But it's going to be a full buy for them. Not the same case for the other side though, since the CTs were not able to convert quite a few frags. I believe they only got 2, so likely just gonna be an easy round for CCG unless the timings don't go their way, and the first one certainly hasn't. They've retrieved and Mac 10 behind it, but can they get anything else done? Jigla denies the initial 2 fights. Goran to follow up with another. He's looking for his second in this round. Gets it, leaving only 1 player behind. It's not Rab on an island. And will get dealt with. A 4 round lead secured for CCG as now they're sitting 4 rounds away from pushing themselves onto the round number 2 of playoffs.
So close, yet so far. They got to keep chugging along, 1 round at a time. They can't get their sights set too far into the future just yet. They're looking incredibly good. They have won, goodness, I need to count. They have won, they've won 9 out of their last 11 rounds, which is absolutely insane.
What?
With this one starting off, it looks like they want to get 10 of their last 12.
That early loss is certainly gonna hurt Stand on Business. They have to get aggressive, at least a little bit, to gain some real estate to make up for it, and that's what they're trying to do over towards middle. But the spam, it feels a little bit too overwhelming. Hence, they're just gonna go for gamble instead. 4 players stacked over towards B, and CCG have just the read that they would have hoped for. The execute coming in over towards A, no CT whatsoever to counter it out. But the question is, are they gonna go for a retake here or not? They do have 4 flashes to help them through. But the initial engagements, particularly the ones over towards middle, are gonna be key where Corin holds down middle, but instead it's gonna be Florida that finds the first, and Corin, how do you find those two? Another flick kill onto revamps that has been absolutely gorgeous. 1 player remains. He's certainly gonna try to save it out. You know, Miles just running away with that AK, but I believe the hunt is on. 3 players currently trying to spot him out. They don't want even a single weapon to get thrown into the next round to potentially make matters worse for CCG, and they will take it out of the equation. 10th on board.
That's so much loss for Stand on Business. Not only was that an AK, but that was armor, that was a helmet, that was 3 grenades and a defuse kit. And Stand on Business has nothing. Absolutely nothing inflict.
It's not pretty. 3 rounds before Stand on Business are thrown to the losers bracket. Certainly don't want to see that this early on into the playoffs. This is the first game, round 1.
You know, there was so much confidence coming into the playoffs for both of these teams. And I mean, why wouldn't you? You went to the playoffs in ESEA Advanced League. This is nearing the top of the top in North America. But no, or rather ESEA, sorry. This is nearing the top of the top for ESEA. You gotta have confidence, and it might just be over before it even gets started. The first best of three coming out for the Stand On Business teams. They've had such a good season, and it might just end like this. The lower bracket might be calling its name.
One player, all that remains between the 11th, between CCG and their 11th round being confirmed. It is yet again Miles who is the last player alive this time around, just with a deagle and a smoke. Nothing that he possibly would have wanted to save out, so he's just gonna try to get an exit frag instead. But CCG, it seems like they have absolutely no troubles whatsoever. It's just a matter of time before they win the series out 2-0 and move on to the round number two of the playoffs, which whoever wins the series will be facing off against Gioma Gaming, who were the 7th seeded team heading into the playoffs.
Bomb goes off. Miles may be able to grab one, but there's still a lot of ground left to make up. We are nearing the end of this series. If CCG are able to grab just two more, I mean, whoever does win this one, whether it be CCG, how it's looking right now, or if Stand On Business are able to make a crazy comeback, they have a very tall task ahead of them. That is not what is at stake at the moment. Got to keep one by one by one. Stay focused on these rounds and don't get too carried away. Beautiful
Casper,
stuff.
strong start. Miles can't deliver the same result with the op. Instead, it's Shilla that puts him to bed. Winter does find one over towards middle, but his fellows over towards B have already fallen. The bomb is gonna go down as well. Only one defuse kit. And that is on Winter. Winter, though isolated out, he has absolutely no help whatsoever over towards Cave. So he's gonna have to be key. He's gonna have to remain alive at least for a little bit longer. He may get pinched from that player behind him. And he certainly has heard him. Or has he? Wait,
No.
Winter might not be prepared for this. He has heard him, but the timing, it goes his way. Chinchilla finds one. The trade's efficient. The rest of the True T players smoked off. They're pushing through. And Gaius Casper gets it somehow. The jump peak, it's absolutely perfect. Floridian follows up onto Natrap as well. And now, hence, only one round remains before CCG are officially into the second round of playoffs.
Magician does what magicians do. And we get into the pause. We have to talk about this for just 1 second. We don't, it's not a timeout, but this is a pause. There has been a disconnect. You got to use this as a timeout. Of course, it's not a timeout. It's a technical pause. Somebody disconnected, but I think for the best case scenario for Stand On Business to somehow stay in this series, they have to talk and use as much of this tech pause as possible to talk this out and find out what they need to do. They have forfeited 5 rounds in a row. CCG has been able to run all over them, do whatever they please with these last couple of rounds. They've not been able to get a single CT-sided round, and something has got to change. They need to win 7 rounds in a row, coming off of losing 5 in a row.
They absolutely do. But you're asking 7 consecutive wins from a team that has only won 5 rounds, and they've already had their shot at the D side of Anubis as well. It's not looking too realistic, but it's not completely out of the possibilities as well. It's slim, but it's there.
Slim possibilities, slim pickings, but it's never over until it is over. We got to remember that it's a possibility for a reason. CCG, of course, they have been fantastic throughout the entire series, and you can't expect them to just turn that off going into this last match, this last round, even. Considering how good they have been, they've won so many in a row. They have won 11 out of their last 12, 12 out of their last 14. This team
Oof.
is here to win in dominant fashion, and all they need to do is get 5 more kills, and they've done it.
In a single round, that is. If they get them in, let's say, 2 or 3 different rounds,
Yeah,
it won't count.
it won't
but
count unless
but
unless they plant the
the
bomb
bomb
and
goes off. Yeah.
they don't get all 5 kills. Either way,
Yeah.
you know what it is: 5 kills in a single round, or get that bomb detonated one more time, and they are going to win this series unless it goes to overtime. But I digress. We're talking about this. That's a long way to go before we have to start talking about overtime.
Oh yeah, it's we're not even close to that. It's a mere thought. It's a mere fictional thought at this very point, but it could turn into a reality. So we are just waiting for the match to get unpaused. Hopefully the player reconnects and there's a fair shot for Sound Business to potentially make that comeback from fiction to reality. But CCG, I think this map in particular portrays actually how they have improved in this game so far in this season, in this very season as well. They're playing up against a team which has already faced off CCG on Anubis, and it was at the very beginning of the league as well. They won that game 13-7. It was comfortable, but CCG, they're looking even better this time around. Uh, Although Stand on Business, they have experience against CCG as well, but the readjustments that CCG have made over the course of this regular season, they're just even better so far. The rounds have been a lot more cleaner. There haven't been as many individual prowess necessary to be showed up from the side of CCG, which just sort of carries them through a few rounds. It's mostly just been team efforts, everybody doing their own job, everybody doing their own thing and shining through in different lights, in different spotlights, and hence CCG just one round away from victory.
Economy is not looking great either. SOB's best weapon is an op. Second up, they've got the M4, and then it's FAMAS, MP9, MP9. CCG does not have a single weak spot in their armor. They have loaded every single player with a great weapon, armor, helmet, a lot of utility, as well as a bank. Everything is going the way of CCG. All signs lead to round 2 for them. And unfortunately for Stand On Business, great team, fantastic to watch, incredibly fun series to watch so far. The signs are unfortunately pointing to the lower bracket for them. As we finally get ready to unpause, 12th round looks to be the 13th for CCG. Might be the end of the series right here.
But emphasis on might, ladies and gentlemen. The mere possibility, it may be near zero, but it's still there. It exists. Not an imaginary number, at least not for the time being. J Casper probably just trying to line up a player through the smoke, won't be able to do so. At least don't connect onto anything. But early aggression being shown over towards middle. Goran gonna make that smoke a little bit awkward as he blocks it unintentionally. But Winter, his timing could be absolutely key in this one. Spots two, can't even find a kill. That's gonna
Headshot for
make,
Corrin.
yeah.
5 versus 4. CCG looks incredible at the moment. As the drop comes down, as a B-side execute, as in it comes, the finishing touch on this series. Oh no,
Or is it?
Corrin ran out! Corrin ran out of bullets!
Oh no. Casper
Oh
falls to a
no.
grenade himself. 1 versus 3. Trev has found one. Spotted revamps and deals quite a lot of damage onto him as well. That Molotov gonna grant him just a little bit of movement space, but he will get taken out. Somehow, Stand on Business just holding on by a thread so far. Corin, awkward timing as he pushes through that Molotov. Had he found that frag, the result would have been utterly different, but CCG not to worry too much. Still a 6 round lead and enough money in the reserves to let them have a full buy.
Yikes, man. It came down to a reload on the AK. It just came down to a reload. They stand to get the bullet of a gun, literally and figuratively, with nothing in the chamber or the magazine. As they want to try this one more time, as in comes the push, and JJ Chinchilla once again running right in the middle of the action.
Now a little bit more aggressive playstyle from the side of Sound Business being shown. I guess they're in the mindset of that, in the mindset of nothing to lose in this map and the series anymore. Since again, winning 6 rounds in a row, it's certainly possible, but it's not likely. So far, though, winning 2 in a row is looking highly likely for Sound Business, as they'll have another 2-man advantage to kick things off of.
Seconds to go. It's a 5v3. Things are looking good at the moment for Stand on Business. CCG is kind of slipped away from what's been working. And on Business, definitely not complaining. 35 ticks left on that clock. CG looks to make their way through mid. Jay Casper catches one shot. They can't land the finisher. And this round likely going the way of Stand on Business. But hold on a second, Inflict. Trip and Corin teaming up for the frag. And there we see the crosshair placement on fleek for Corin yet again. With a 2 versus 2 on this retake, we might just be seeing the beginning of the end for what we thought was CCG. But now, all of a sudden, they look really good.
But it's Corin on the other end. The man can do anything,
Oh,
but not this time. Revamps, well, writes his name in the death note and puts the 7th on board. First down on Business. They're just holding down. They're just forcing themselves out of their own graves right now. But how long can they hold on? Is it going to be long enough before the Angel of Death decides that it's not worth it anymore and allows them to go to OT? Or is CCG finally going to put things to rest eventually? We have seen quite a few times where CCG just loses 2, 3, or even 4 rounds when they have a lead and wins it out on an eco. So it may just be that what we witnessed, but still,
got
5 more rounds to be won.
5 more rounds to win for Stand on Business. 5 pistols for CCG as in comes the A side execute. The smokes are really good, and A side's forfeited over. They push out. JJ Chinchilla unfortunately taken down by Revamps, but the bomb has been planted down, and the huge crossfire here as well.
Okay.
Big shot and a huge way to get the advantage. They get a couple of guns over.
No,
Corin
no.
forces to a 2 versus 1. Tech9 out. Ball game still alive. Net trip 1 versus 1. Op versus Mac
No
10.
way.
Clock's ticking.
No.
They've got the defuse kit, but they need to find it as soon as possible. There's no more time. The Mac 10's in perfect position. There's no more time. That's gonna be it. We've done it. CCG pushes through to round 2.
And what? I said it jokingly. I didn't actually mean that CCU might just win out on an eco, but somehow they do. Corin yet again, absolutely ridiculous performance to end things out as well. 25 frags, 14 deaths this time around as well. Last map the man was 23 and 13, but CCG lose 3. They concede 2 rounds in a row. Their economy completely broken down, and just when you think that okay, maybe there might be a chance for Stand on Business now that they've won 2 rounds in a row and they've broken down the economy of CCG, that they might be coming back into this, or they might be feeling starting to feel a little bit confident. Corin just shuts them out, pushes them through the front door, and says sayonara. CCG will be heading to round number two against Jaioma Gaming.
Never count them out. Eco round or not eco round, whether it's a force buy, an eco, a full buy, you can never count them out at all. CCG taking this dub 2-0, and big man MVP Corin. What a performance from this lad.
It absolutely was amazing, and it was amazing to see the improvements that CCG has made over time as well. But we're going to talk about all of that with a player from CCG, hopefully. But before we do so, we're going to take a short break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And we are back with CCG Esports. We just got done watching the first round of the playoffs go the way of CCG 2-0. Good game to stand on business. We have an interview for you, Floridian. Welcome to the interview booth, and of course, good games. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It always feels nice getting out of there, especially in a 2-0. It keeps that keeps me a little less stressed. So
Yeah, I mean, it got us a little stressed when you lost those two two rounds, but not quite a lot. I actually said this that you might guys might just win out on an eco because you've done it so many times where you lose 3 4 rounds while having a big advantage and then just win it out on an eco. Like, what's the deal with that? Why do you guys keep on doing that? Just
um
win on on a rifle round.
yeah, we just we had to make up for the 30-minute delay to extend the content a little bit, make it more interesting. But we expected them to do a canals crunch on like one of those two last rounds, and they just didn't. And so it just didn't round didn't really play out how we expected it to. So just weren't really prepared for how they did it. But it obviously worked out in the end. We just ran the A rush back to back, and we doubted they'd play the same ace setup or that ace stack that we ran into the first time. So
All right. Well, it obviously worked out good enough to get that secured. And I want to bring you back to Anubis. I believe this was round three. You've lost the first three in a row, and then you win off the fourth. You call the timeout, and then all of a sudden, round after round after round after round. What happened in that timeout that just put you guys into overdrive mode?
we started off a little dry, especially after losing that pistol. And then I think we won one and then we lost one. And then when we won that I think it was a 3v4, like a retake, just huge round. We were like, everybody kind of woke back up after the 15-minute delay in between the maps. And so we called the timeout to, try to make sure that we were going to keep that tempo and, get it back. And, but then stay focused so we can start stringing some rounds together. And obviously it worked.
It certainly did, but I'm gonna bring us even further back. I'm gonna move back to Overpass because we've seen you guys play Overpass quite a lot, especially in the very last season of CS:GO as well, where you guys made ridiculous 10-5 comebacks and numerous of them to make it into the playoffs. But you haven't really played this map ever since. I believe you had like one or two reps of on Overpass last season, and not even a single one in this season so far. But you still felt confident it still went your way, although it was Sound on Business's map pick. You think it's one is it like one of your third or fourth priority kind of a map, or you just retained what you had done so many times in the previous seasons that worked out so well?
We still have some good reps on it, and we've been getting some good scrims in. We just kind of we not been scared to touch it, but we've just kind of like kept our distance a little bit because it is a new map, and you know the meta is still getting figured out. It's just a lot more easier to get consistent when not playing that in BO1s. Getting it picked into us in playoffs so is really nice. We're comfortable enough on it that even like red overpass teams will be able to handle. And also being able to start CT side is just super important on that map. And so if they're picking it into us, we get to start CT side. And yeah, that map is super CT sided, so it makes it a lot easier to play.
Right now, the first round is in the books. 2-0, pretty good sweep, but now things are going to get a little bit harder. Round two's coming up to stay in the playoffs. Is there anything that you're going to be focusing on going up against your next opponent?
We really just want to keep our you know our comms up in TeamSpeak and you know making sure we're still vocal and super upbeat. We had really good vibes all night tonight. We have for their past couple of days of playoffs or of practice. You know, and if we just keep that up, I don't really have any doubts that you know we'll at least put up a fight. You know, if not handle them. So
Well, fair enough. And good luck for your next match as well. For anybody watching, it is going to be against Yaoma Gaming, a team which I believe they have faced off against in the last season. I'm not really sure which map or how that game exactly went. Florida, if you do you remember that game by any chance?
I kind of forgot about it until I was actually looking through you guys' Twitch bots. Um,
Uh,
and then I yeah I was clicking through it. We won 13-11 on Anubis. And
ooh.
I believe that was one of the last games SRY played with us. But that's about all the
Well,
memory I've got for you from that one.
so there are going to be quite a few different things. Again, a new roster heading into the season for CCG as well, with Jay Casper being a permanent player, and it has worked out absolutely fantastic so far. But we're going to see if it keeps on with that consistency heading into the second round of the playoffs. So we will be seeing you, I believe on Thursday. I can confirm. I can't
That
confirm that.
is that is default.
Sounds right. It sounds
We are
correct.
trying to move it though, but so we shall see.
Yeah, so whenever that will be, you guys will be updated on our social, so make sure you follow that. But we will be back whenever that round two is about to be played, so make sure you tune in for that game as well. It is going to be absolutely crucial. Of course, we are in the playoffs, so but until then, that is going to be it from my side, from Floridian and Tucker as well. So we'll see you round two, day of round two. Until then, goodbye, guys.